Welcome to Sunday School for Sunday, October 15th, 2023, for our senior high students. The title of today's story, The Unexpected. The Bible basis is coming out of Genesis chapter 17, verses 15 through 17, Genesis chapter 18, verses 9 through 15, and Genesis chapter 21, verses 1 through 7. The Bible truth, a promise to Sarah. I'm going to run for student body president, Lexi said confidently. I think I would do a good job. You do? Terry, her big sister, said with a look of surprise. Who lied to you? What do you mean? Don't you think I can do it? Nope. How come? Terry sighed. First of all, you're a C-average student who cares more about boys and shopping than homework and other school responsibilities. Secondly, you spend more time in detention than you do in actual class. Should I continue? Lexi frowned. Please don't. I get it. But you're wrong. I'm going to do this. I promise you that. Terry laughed. Don't get your hopes up. I know I won't get mine up. In order to prove her sister wrong, Lexi spent the next several months focusing on school. Boys and shopping were no longer a priority. She attended school functions and volunteered. She worked hard on her class assignments and managed to bring her grades up to a B average. When it came time for the election, she squeaked out a narrow victory, which stunned her sister. Lexi just smiled at Terry and said, How do you like me now? Our lesson scripture. And God said unto Abraham, As for Sarai thy wife, thou shalt not call her name Sarai, but Sarah shall her name be. And I will bless her and give thee a son also of her. Yea, I will bless her, and she shall be a mother of nations. Kings of people shall be of her. Then Abraham fell upon his face and laughed, and said in his heart, Shall a child be born unto him that is 100 years old? And shall Sarah that is 90 years old bear? And they said unto him, Where is Sarah thy wife? And he said, Behold, in the tent. And he said, I will certainly return unto thee according to the time of life. And lo, Sarah thy wife shall have a son. And Sarah heard it in the tent door, which was behind him. Now Abraham and Sarah were old and well stricken in age, and it ceased to be with Sarah after the manner of women. Therefore Sarah laughed within herself, saying, After I am waxed old, shall I have pleasure, my Lord being old also? And the Lord said unto Abraham, Wherefore did Sarah laugh, saying, Shall I of a surety bear a child which am old? Is anything too hard for the Lord? At the time appointed, I will return unto thee according to the time of life, and Sarah shall have a son. Then Sarah denied, saying, I laughed not, for she was afraid. And he said, Nay, but thou didst laugh. And the Lord visited Sarah as he had said, and the Lord did unto Sarah as he had spoken. For Sarah conceived and bare Abraham a son in his old age, at the set time of which God had spoken to him. And Abraham called the name of his son that was born unto him, whom Sarah bare to him, Isaac. And Abraham circumcised his son Isaac, being 8 days old, as God had commanded him. And Abraham was 100 years old when his son Isaac was born unto him. And Sarah said, God hath made me to laugh, so that all that hear will laugh with me. And she said, Who would have said unto Abraham that Sarah should have given children suck? For I have borne him a son in his old age. God promised Abraham and Sarah that they would have a son. The elderly couple laughed at such a notion. They thought it was impossible for them to have a child. They did not trust God, even after all he had done for them. But God can do all things. When God followed through with his promise, Abraham and Sarah were both humbled and amazed. We often rejoice at the birth of a new member in the family or community. What does a birth mean to a family or community? Abraham and Sarah saw their child as evidence of God's faithfulness in keeping the promise to create a nation. How did Lexi prove to Terry her faithfulness in keeping a promise in today's story? Much like Abraham and Sarah, Terry laughed at Lexi's promise, but she had legitimate reasons to not believe her sister. Abraham and Sarah, on the other hand, had no reason to doubt God. The questions from our story today. Number 1, what promise did Lexi make to her sister? Number 2, why didn't her sister believe her? Number 3, what did Lexi do in order to reach her goal and fulfill her promise? The questions from our lesson text today. Number 1, what did God promise to Abraham? Number 2, how did Abraham and Sarah respond to God's promise? Number 3, why did Abraham and Sarah respond the way they did? Number 4, how did Sarah respond when God kept his promise? There's a lot of distrust in today's world. Do you have trouble trusting others? Do others have trouble trusting you? Make a list of people whom you trust and then list the reasons you trust them. Do you possess these same qualities? If not, strive to become more like the people you trust. Become more dependable, honest, and considerate of others. The memory verse. For Sarah conceived and bare Abraham a son in his old age, at the set time of which God has spoken to him. And that's Genesis chapter 21, verse 2. The end. God bless you and thank you for joining me today.